Buckle up, sports fanatics. This is the Sports Chasers Podcast, your HQ for in-depth sports talk. Join host Kevin L. Warren and crew as they dissect the hottest stories, ignite debates, and bring you closer to the action. From locker room whispers to expert takes, we cover it all. It's game time, so strap in and grab a drink. The Sports Chasers Podcast starts right now.
Hey, good morning, everybody. What's happening, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers, man. This is our interview sessions, man. We have a great treat for you tonight. Today, I should say, excuse me, I used to say tonight, but it's the morning time here for me in the East. And but hey, nonetheless, we have a great guest for us tonight, and all my golfers. You're gonna love this today, man. But before we get into all that, make sure you like, click, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit all the bells for the notifications, and those that are listening under the sound of my voice on the podcasting side. Give us that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star review, 5-star review. Love us or hate us. Let us know how you're doing, as you so eloquently do all the time, and it helps with the algorithm, man. So without further ado, let me get into the introduction of our guest today. Chasers Nations, good morning. Today we have a special guest who is about to change your golf game to forever. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a seasoned amateur, or you're out there grinding for a single-digit handicap, you're about to get the cheat code to lower your score by 4, even maybe by 5 strokes per round. Joining us today is a brilliant mind behind the groundbreaking method transforming lag putting worldwide, an engineer, an innovator, an author, and a lifelong student of the game, Mr. Bob Labbe, author of Putting by the Numbers. From engineering physics to the putting game, Bob has created a simple scientific arithmetic-based system that any golfer can use. No new equipment, no swing changes, just knowledge, practice, and the power factor that can instantly elevate your game. It helped golfers unlock consistency, confidence, and tournament-level precision on the green. I can't wait to get into this. And today, he's here to unlock it for you, plus me. Chasers Nation, let's give a big welcome and to the man that's helping golfers worldwide mastering the lag putt, Mr. Bob Labbe. There you go. Bob, what's happening, man? How are you today, sir?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited about this. I like you, took up golfing in the 90s myself, with the whole Tiger Woods phenomenon. I said, let me get some golf clubs, man. And I sucked at it in the beginning, and then I got a coach for a little bit, and he taught me some things, and I've been kind of hooked on golf ever since, man. I love golf, man. I love the fact that how it's a thinking man's game, thinking person's game. Excuse me. And you gotta, and it will humble you. I've seen some athletes come into golf thinking that they're the man, and man, they can't hit that ball. They can't hit that little ball.
Boy, it's tough.
It's definitely tough, man. And it's also mental, also, man. And just everything needs to be right. And shout out to the guys that's on the tour, on the pro tour, whether it's the Live Tour or the PGA, how they are able to just be precision every. But that comes with what practice, right? You know, thousands of hours of practice and all of that, man. So, shout out to you. What made you get into golfing?
Well, after I had sold my second air pollution control company, my partner, John Halligan, and I said that when we retired back in 1996 and 7, that we would start playing golf because we both loved the game. But as business owners and operators, we didn't think we had enough time to play the game because, as you know, our 18-hole round takes about 4.5 hours. And when you run a business like we were, we thought 4.5 hours was a lot of time for us to expend. I think that was a mistake, though, because I think that golf, when you go out in the course, you can conduct business. You meet the nicest people. You meet the most honest and honorable people.
We lost Bob there for a second. Here we go.
It's just a great place to be, whether you're there recreationally or you're doing business. It's I should have started playing golf. I started playing golf when I was 52 years old, and I'm 81 now. So It's been a long journey, and it's been a great joy, but with a lot of frustration in those 29 years.
You and amongst other golfers too, man. But you have perfected this. You have not perfected this, I should say. You have added some value, I guess. So let me ask you this, Bob. What about telling us how your background in engineer helped you write the book, Putting by the Numbers?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I'm a Georgia Tech graduate in engineering, and I that was the hardest thing I ever did in life was getting through Georgia Tech. Tough school,
Okay.
but golf's about the same. It's tough too, so I put them on the same level. Um, yeah, I got onto the idea of puttingbythenumbers.com and my book because I was watching a PGA tournament on Sunday, and after playing golf for a short time, the real weakness in my game was being able to judge long distance putts. And because of that, I was 3 and 4 putting, which was causing me to score in the high 90s, whereas the other 13 clubs in my bag I was doing pretty well with. But my putter was killing me. So uh, I was watching a PGA tournament on Sunday afternoon, and they were talking about the stimp meter. And Edward Stimpson invented the stimp meter back in 1935, which is used in virtually every tournament around the world as the means but to determine the speed of a green. And all it is, it's a U-shaped tube with a notch in it. They put the ball on that, let it lift it up and let it roll off the knot tube and onto the green, and it travels a given distance. And if all 3 balls travel within 2 feet of each other, then they say, okay, the speed of the green today is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever it is. The higher the number, the faster the green. Well, because my putting was so poor for long putting, I thought, well, gosh, if you can devise a qualitative system like Edward Stimpson did for determining the speed of green, there's got to be a way to do a quantitative system. And
Wow.
basically, the effort of hitting a golf ball on the green is a friction force activity. You put so much force on the ball by stroking it, it travels on a frictional surface, be it green, fringe, fairway, or first cut or rough. And
Right.
I put the ball on all 4 of those surfaces very accurately because of my methodology. And that's what's cool about my putting by the numbers method. You can use this method to play any golf course in the world. And all you got to do is get to the golf course about 30 minutes early before your tee time, get on the practice green and practice the green, the fringe, the fairway, first cut or rut. And you write down how far does the ball travel for your stroke on each of those surface conditions, and then you take that to the your game that day on the course. And then you arithmetically be able to calculate how far I need to bring my putter back before I stroke the ball. And
Mm.
that's probably, the key to my method is your individual power factor, because everybody has their own individual power factor when they use stroke a putter, because we're rocking our shoulders, and my basic individual power factor for most courses I play is 20 feet of travel per 1 inch of retraction of the putter. My wife's is 13 feet per travel for 1 inch of putter on the green. So that's kind of the average for all the courses, but we play all different courses, and it can be 25 feet, it can be 10 feet, depending on the quality of the green. So knowing that, you can easily arithmetically figure out how far to retract your putter from the ball before you stroke it, and then you'll find that your ball will either go in the hole or be 3 or 5 feet from the cup to make that second putt. And that second putt, making 2 putts on the green, is a wonderful thing. And getting 33, 36 strokes on an 18-hole round isn't bad. Last year, at 80 years old, I had averaged 30.5 putts per 18 hole round.
Oh wow,
And I have a 7 handicap at 81 years old.
that is
So
awesome.
so it's not bad if I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay. And so that's what my book's all about, is how do you do it? And um, I've had it took me 25 years. I didn't write the book until 2021.
Wow.
Took me 25 years to get enough confidence to be sure I don't want to tell people a wrong story. It's got to be accurate. It's got to be reproducible. It's got to be something that anybody can do. And what's cool about it, it's linear. Okay. So
Yeah.
for every inch you retract your puddle, it's going to travel a given distance. And that's linear. You can figure it. If you hit the ball 10 feet by a 1 inch retraction, it'll go 20 feet on a 2 inch retraction for your individual power factor. And that's what makes a method so good. And you can improve your game 4 to 5 strokes. Any person on the planet, whether you're recreational, amateur, professional, whatever, you can improve your game that much, and you don't have to spend but $5 or $10 to buy the book. And you don't even have to buy the book. You can watch my tutorials that are on the book on the website. And if you like my idea, then go buy the book. If you don't, hey, you can at least know what I do.
Well, we're going to help you out here. We're going to make sure the links to your book and to the your tutorial video will be in our description of this episode. Let me ask you this: how do the numbers translate to real world putting success, though?
Well, it has made, when I was really struggling back in 96, 97, with my game having just taken up the game, I was putting between 40 and 44 putts per 18 hole round. But I was 3 and 4 putting, lots of greens. And when you're hitting 40 to 44 putts around, I'm scoring in the high 90s. I should have been scoring in the high 80s, mid 80s, but my putting was killing me. And that's of course the reason why I had to invent a method that works. And so yeah, being an engineer, you never want to tell anybody anything that's not true.
Right.
So I'd go out on the golf course, and I play golf with my wife a lot, and she'd let me take notes about what I was doing, and I put them in my golf bag. I compiled 200 or 300 notes before I ever wrote this book, and had
Hmm.
them in my library. And come 2021, I was retiring from my business, my third business, and in the process of doing so. And I kept getting friends telling me, "Hey, you need to write a book about this," because I have several friends over the years that have taken up my method, and they're doing very well with my method. And so I would like everybody in the world to know about my method, whether they use it or not. I tell people, look, take a look at my method, try it, practice 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day for 6 weeks. At the end of that 6 weeks period, you will know if this method is for you. And if it is for you, use it, because you're going to improve your game at least 4 or 5 strokes.
Hmm. Why wouldn't it be for a person though?
What's that?
Why wouldn't this be for, you said the commitment first. You may say some people it might not be for them. Is that because of the lack of commitment or lack of not wanting to do it?
Well, I think you got to be somewhat quantitative. If you go to the grocery store and you figure out, how many jars of pickle you're going to buy, and and they're 2.99 a piece, you got to be able to do the arithmetic in your head. Some people are not able to do arithmetic in their head, so those people, this method would not work for. If
Mm,
you can do simple arithmetic in your head, then you are qualified. Okay. To at least try this method. And then you just have to be able to say, well, look, if the ball travels 20 feet on the green, it travels 7 feet on the fringe, 7 feet on the fairway, and 2.5 feet on the rough, and you're in the rough, and you got to put that composite arithmetic together. What's cool about the method is I hit my ball either on the green or close to green on my shot, my approach shot into the green. And as I'm driving my cart to the green, I'm thinking about what my plan is. And
Mm,
that's what's really cool about, because this method creates your thinking to have a plan when you get to the green. And so, when you get out of your cart, or if you're carrying your bag, you know exactly your plan when you get to the green. And that's what confidence in this game, as is very, very important.
yes.
You got to be on point, and if you're confident, you'll usually play pretty well.
Nah, that's definitely. I said it for me when I first started. I almost quit. And I had a friend of mine say, "Hey man, don't quit." And like I said, I got me a coach for a little bit, and he taught me. He was very good. And it just worked out. But this right here, the putting factor, man. Like there's been so many great golfers, man, and they'll say that the game is the short game. If your short game is not about it, you can pretty much hang it up, man. So
That's true.
yeah, that's something else. What's some of the common mistakes golfers make with this lag putting, you think?
Well, when I was really in the beginning and I was putting so poorly,
Right.
I was if I was 70 feet away from the hole on the putting green, I didn't have that feely, touchy, athletic ability to say, okay, how hard should I hit this ball?
Hmm.
So I would either hit it too far, way beyond the hole, or I'd hit it too soft and leave it way short of the hole. And that's what would cause me the 3 and 4 putt phenomena. So if you are an athlete, and I played football, basketball, baseball when I was a kid, and I'm fairly athletic. And but even if you're not athletic, the game of golf is something everybody can learn and play and enjoy, even though it is a bit frustrating when you don't play well.
Correct.
Okay. But
Correct.
it's really a game you're playing. The game is you against yourself, and it's all up here in the mental
Right.
stages of your brain, and then you just connect your brain to your hands and arms, and you make a swing, and you hope for the best. But as you said, the game putting, it can be as much as 50% of the game, because if you figure out 2 strokes per 18 holes is 36 strokes, and a normal 18 hole course is 72 par.
Correct.
So you can say, okay, 36, 70, that's half the game. And so if you're a good putter, by golly, you'll probably be a pretty good player. So those other 13 clubs in your bag are important, but not nearly as important as that putter.
This is, man, you're very prophetic because yes, absolutely. Everybody wants to hit the big Bertha. They want to do that, take out the pitching wedge and all that stuff, man. But if you can't putt, man, it's becomes extremely frustrating. So let
Oh,
me
yeah.
just let me get to the power factor. You talk about developing the power factor unique to each player. What exactly is the power factor, and how can golfers begin identifying their own power factor? You just talked about it here a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, attached to my book is an in-home tutorial video and an on-course tutorial video. And I show exactly how you identify and develop your power factor, because I have a space in my basement that I have the ability to putt as far as 50 feet. And so I've got a indoor outdoor carpet in my basement, my game room and all. And so if you take a standard ruler, or if you want the way I do it, having been an engineer, I had an engineer's scale, an
Wish,
architect scale,
wish you did.
and I put it right down next to the ruler. And so the way you develop your individual power factor is you have to establish in your mind approximately how far is an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, all the way up to about a foot. You got to be able to visualize these increments of distance. And if you're a metric guy, then it's centimeters. But if you're an English guy, then it's inches. And so you practice initially retracting your putter a given distance, like 6 inches. Well, on an architectural scale, you can if you have you put the inch markings so you can't see them, and then you retract your putter and you say, okay, I think I'm 6 inches back, and then you look over that triangular thing and say if you're right. So now you're developing your ability to evaluate your retraction distance in 1 to 12 inches, because that's generally the range that you can hit any putt on the surface of the green, fairway, fringe, whatever. So once you develop the ability to visualize distances from 1 to 12 inches, and then you stroke the ball through the ball using your rocking method of your shoulders,
Mm,
like you do when you're putting, you can, what I do here in the basement, my carpet here in the basement is 11 feet of travel for 1 inch of retraction based on my individual power factor. So what I do is I retract my putter 3 inches, and I hit the ball, and invariably the ball will travel about 33 feet. And I do that with 3 balls. And just like the stimp meter, if you if your 3 balls are within 2 feet of each other, then you've accomplished the mission. And that's my evaluation as to whether I've been successful or not. I'll do that with 1 inch, 2 inches. I can do it up to 4 inches in my basement. Okay. And that's what I do in the winter. Okay. If I'm home here in the cold weather, I can't go outside. I'll get 3 golf balls, come down to my basement and practice putting. And it's fun. I turn on the music, and I may actually spend a couple hours down here, just get lost in the game. And so it's fun because you can make a game out of it when you're practicing.
yes.
You know, am I achieving the objective? Is that ball traveling 30 feet, 3 feet when I'm putting, retracting 3 inches? And I'm a gamer, and so I make a game out of everything.
No, that's very important. I need to. I got like a little putting thing I use in the garage. Not as big as yours, but it helps sometimes. And like you said, golf is mental, but you also have to put in the work too. I think people just don't, think they can just go out there and but you have to put in the work. Whether it's your putting game, is whether it's you're trying to hit the ball longer, or me, cut out the slicing. Keep your head down and just hit the ball, as they say, man, hit the ball. So try
Well,
to go
I
ahead.
think I think baseball players have them get the most frustration with this game, because you take like John Smoltz, a great baseball pitcher, and he's an outstanding golfer too. But baseball players are so used to having to hit that baseball, and it's curving, it's dropping, it's in motion going 90 mile an hour, and then they come out to play golf, and this ball's sitting on a tee or it's sitting on the grass,
They try to
and
kill
they find out, why can't I be good at this game? And it's mind boggling, because here's the ball sitting on the green, all by itself. All you got to do is hit it, and they're used to hitting balls that are traveling 90 miles an hour and jumping all over the place. So for a baseball player, this is a terribly frustrating game in the beginning. But most of these great baseball players are pretty good golfers.
Yeah, I would say I'm a baseball player myself. I only played up in high school, but like you said, you have the ball sitting right there on the green. You address the ball and all that stuff, and you whiff and you miss, and you're like, man, I was able to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, or a curveball, or a breaking ball, or a split finger, and this little ball is not doing anything. It's standing
Right.
right here. And my coach had told me one time, man, he said, "Yo, it's all about mechanics. It's all about you concentrating and addressing the ball. All that matters." He says, "Look
Right.
at the greats when they address the ball and what they do with their swing." And he was just so right, man. So I started, paying attention, and lo and behold, guess what happened? I started hitting the ball.
Yeah,
I
it's
started,
amazing. I've learned through my 29 years of playing in the game now, that the simpler that you can make the stroke,
yes.
the better it is because you can reproduce simple. You
Hmm.
can't reproduce complicated. You got to keep it simple. So my golf swing, whether it's with the driver or any of the fairway woods or any of my irons, be them long or short, is pretty much the same swing. The position of the golf ball relative to on the ground, where relative to where my feet are, and that changes a bit, of course, depending on the club. But my golf swing is pretty simple and it's consistent with every club. And I find that's for an amateur golfer like me, I think it's great. Now, if you're on the PGA Tour, 150 guys out of 8 billion people in the world, these guys are special. So
Yes.
they got talent well beyond. They're in a different realm than we are. Okay, and I get that. So I know, just like Jack Nicklaus once said, I can't believe I've gotten all this attention just because I could hit a golf ball. You know, and I talked to Jack Nicklaus at the AT&T Classic back in the 1980s. Had a friend of mine, Ed Griffith, and I went there, and he's such a nice guy. And he just came out of the scoring tent, and we asked him a few questions, and yeah, he said, this is a good game, but you got to stay concentrated and you got to stay focused. And I think that's the key to the game: staying concentrated, staying focused, and you know, keeping a quiet mind when you're playing.
Hmm. Quiet mind, no distractions. You got to go out there just totally focus, like you said. Let me get into this. You said your approach doesn't require changing much of your stroke. Why? And buy any new equipment. Why was this important to you when you wrote this? When you creating this method?
Well, all the methodology that's out there usually requires you to buy new equipment, new apparatus of some site that are expensive. And you can actually you can buy my book in soft copy, hard copy, ebook, uh, verbal book, oral book, audio book. You can buy it in all those four fashions, and it's all somewhere between $5 and $15. Okay, and that's all you need to do. Then you have to read the book, and you can look at my videos and see exactly what I'm doing. So for between $5 and $15, you can take a chance on learning a new methodology of hitting a golf ball when you're putting.
There you go. There goes the book on the screen right there. So make sure you guys check it out. The links will be in the description as well as the YouTube tutorial. So, Bob, real quick, who was your favorite golfer? Let's go to that real quick, and then we'll go back to your book.
Well,
Do you have any?
I do, and I think that I was asked a question: who would be my favorite foursome in the world that I'd want to caddy for?
Okay.
Okay, and I came up with Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, uh, Bobby Jones, and well, I had a real problem with the fourth one because Sam Snead was an awfully good golfer,
She
and
was. Hmm.
I saw Sam Snead back in 1990 up in West Virginia at his hangout, and my friend got an autograph from him when we were playing. So yeah, I think those would be those four people might be my idolic foursome to caddy for. Okay, and I think those four might be among the greatest golfers of all time.
Got you. Got you. Your book includes a video trailer, as we talked about, both on course and home practice videos. What can golfers expect from these resources that you are providing when they purchase them?
Well, I think if they purchase the book, they look. I would say everybody should start out by watching the in-home tutorial, watching that's 10 minutes long, and then you watch my on-course tutorial, which is 23 minutes long.
Right.
and you'll get an idea from watching those two tutorials what the book is all about. Okay. And then I'd open the book up and I'd start reading. Okay. And I would, the book is broken down into who, what, where, why, and when. And it tells you, you know, who should do this, where you should apply the method, and when, and so it's broken into that fashion. And I think that having watched the tutorials and reading, the book's only 82 pages long. Okay, so it's an easy read. You can read the book.
That's rich.
You can read it in an hour quickly, and then if you study it, might take you 1 to 3 hours, but it's not a hard read. And so and you can go back and mark things that you think are important. And so yeah, that's how I would do it if I was just picking up this book. And gosh, I have a lot of friends that I play golf with, and got a good friend, Jim Clund, who's taken my method. And Jim was having a hard time with long distance putting. Actually, Jim is one of the best long distance putters I know now because he's using my method, and he's doing a fabulous job.
So I know you talked about this. So let's use Jim as an example. How long did Jim say that these results? He started seeing results after he started using your methodologies and and your way of how to do this putting.
Well, he picked up the idea. I gave him a copy of the book, and he picked up the idea 2 or 3 years ago. Jim's an old guy like me. He's 82 or 83 years old, and um, but I would say 2 or 3 years ago he started the method. And you know, if you're not a very good putter like I was back in 19, I was a terrible putter on long distance back in 1996. Well, Jim was not a very good putter. So, you can make a magnificent improvement in your game if you're a bad putter like we were when we started out. So Jim's learning curve, his drop in score went very quickly in the beginning, and then of course the curve levels out. And but I would say Jim's learning curve was steep in the beginning, and then he leveled out. And I would say within 6 months he achieved nearly an optimum level. Jim scores now in nine. We play 9 holes now. Uh, he scores about 45 to 47 strokes per round.
Mm.
Okay, which is not bad. He's in that 90 to 94 range on an 18 hole course. And he's putting pretty well for golf. I don't keep track of his score, but before he picked up my method, he was exceeding 100, 110 regularly.
Oh, shout out to Jim. Hey, you guys got to get the book. Like I said, the book is just on the screen right here. It will be in the links. So make sure you pick up the book. Let me ask you this, Bob. Do you think more golfers should embrace this data-driven approach to practicing, especially in the era where there's launch monitors and stroke gain analysis analytics?
Well, yeah, as I say, I think the key to being a good golfer is trying to keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate, because if you overcomplicate, that usually creates disaster. And so I think you take this quantitative method, practices it for 6 weeks to see if it works for you. If you like it, adapt it into your game. You'll see these 4 or 5 stroke improvement. Or in my case, I've improved my games 10 to 14 strokes because of this method. So I mean, if you're a bad putter like I was in 1996, you can markedly improve your game using this method. And I think because you know there are so many complicated methodologies to improving your game with physical apparatus, mechanical apparatus, that creates a degree of complication. This approach is pretty simple. If you can do arithmetic, if you can establish what your individual power factor is, the method's linear, You know, if you practice and see how it works, it's repetitive, reproducible, and it's accurate. And hey, where can you improve your golf game any easier than this?
Gotcha. Putting, is it more art, more science, or is it both?
Well, I think for those guys that are really feely, touchy, good athletes, okay. And my wife has had 2 hole in ones, and I haven't had a hole in one, okay.
Right.
I've had 14 balls within 13 inches of the cup, the one being a half inch, but I've never made a hole in one.
Wow.
Okay. My wife has had two hole in ones, and she's got a necklace she wears for each of them. And I got to buy her the diamond for the third one when she said she's going to get one. So that to answer the question, I suppose that I forgot what the question was now, uh,
Is putting a art
or
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 science,
science.
or a little bit of both in your.
I think it's a little bit of both, and I can tell you, my wife is a feely touchy putter, but she's adopted my method into her game. But she has the ability to have that athletic skill to be feely touchy, but she also integrates into the game a combination of the quantitative nature of putting by the numbers with her quantitative. And I think she's even become a better putter because of it, because you can integrate these. If you're a good athlete and you have a good feel touch method, one of the things about this thing is it puts a quantification into your game too. You can integrate the two ideologies and become even a better putter.
Gotcha, gotcha. What's your biggest hope for golfers when they pick up putting by the numbers?
Well, I hope that when they pick up putting by the numbers, that they do find the method workable for them, and in that effort, in just reading and practicing those 6 weeks, that if they come away with the ideas, hey, I can play any golf course in the world and be a good putter on any golf course. That's one of the things, the key things about this method. I played St. Andrews, the old course of
Mm.
St. Andrews. I played Pebble Beach. I played a lot of the name courses around the world. And I can tell you one thing, I can putt those courses just like they're my home course.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's what I recommend. That's what I hope for every golfer to get from this book, that you can putt any course in the world using this quantitative methodology and putt it just like it's your home course.
And as Bob said, as long as you know some kind of arithmetic, math, you'll be fine. You'll definitely be
Exactly.
fine. Bob, finally, what is you hope for golfers chasing that next level of I wouldn't say greatness, but trying to get to that next level? And what would your message be to them?
Well, because as we discussed earlier, that putting can be as much as 50% of the game.
Yes.
And the short game around the green is an equally important part. You know, to be a good sand wedge or lob wedge or pitching wedge um, player, you got to practice a lot. And one of the things about this method, this is, the people say when people use the putter off the green, you're using your Texas wedge. Okay. I putt off the green quite a bit, provided there's no obstacles between me and the hole, because I know when I use this method of quantitative putting, I can say I know what the friction of the fairway is. I know what the friction of the fringe is. And I know the friction of the green, and I can quickly arithmetically add those numbers up and know how far to retract my thing. Whereas if I'm using a lob wedge, I'm a pretty good player with my wedges now. So I use my lob wedge a lot, and I use my pitching wedge and my sand wedge a lot around the green if there's obstacles in my way. But if there's no obstacle in my way, and particularly if I'm not playing well with my wedges on the game, I use my putter a lot. So I think you got to realize in the game of golf, the short game wedges, and putter is those four clubs are are more than my opinion 60%, 70% of the game because you hit that, you get a big kick out of hitting the ball. I can still hit the ball off the tee between 225 and 250.
Man.
And when I hit it 225, I'm happy. When I hit it 200, I'm not so happy. But I can play one of the strengths of my game is I can play my fairway woods good, and I can play my short irons good, but my long irons give me trouble. So I stay away from my long irons. I usually use a hybrid. You know, you
Mm,
you pick you pick the clubs that work for you and you put them in
yeah,
your bag and you use them. But recognizing that the short game is 50 or 60 or 70% of the apple, concentrate your practice time on the short game. That's my recommendation. And particularly putting.
good.
Last thing I'll say about quantitative method of putting. If you become good at the lag putting method that I prescribe for in this long distance method of putting, guess what? You only have to practice short putting between 3 and 5 feet because you know that you've hit. If you're a lag putting and you're hitting the ball per my method, and you're always getting the ball within 3 or 5 feet of the hole, then all you got to do is practice short putting within 3 or 5 feet, and you will become an outstanding short putter as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Mr. Bob Labbe. Thank you so much, Bob. This was great. This was really, really great. And I was going to say, I'm definitely going to get the book. I appreciate you so much coming on. I mean, I thought I wasn't really a good putter. Try to work on it. Like I said, I had the little thing in the garage, man. But you really opened up my eyes about this. And I mean, some of the things I knew, putting, the putting game is absolutely. It's where it's at. That's where the money's at. It's not the your ball getting in the sand. Even though I suck at that, I really do. Maybe you can get a methodology on that.
I know what you're talking about. Sand can be problematic.
I hate when I cringe. I say, "Oh, damn, the ball's in the sand. Let's see how this is gonna go, man." Oh, hit behind the ball. I've heard all types of stuff. I still haven't really gotten that point, man. But I enjoy going out to the golf course, and like you said earlier, man, it's a great time to meet new people. Business deals are done on the golf course, and just overall, you're enjoying nature and you're in the outside, man. You're getting some good exercise, whether it be for 9 or whether it be for the whole 18, man. Go out there, get some exercise and stuff like that. Bob, I'm gonna let you have the final thoughts, and then we'll get on out of here. Don't go nowhere after we get out of here. Talk to you off the air. What are your final thoughts? What you have to say?
Well, I tell all of my children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren uh, that hey, golf and tennis are two games you can play your entire life. So don't make the mistake I did. I picked up golf when I was 52 years old. Don't make the mistake I made. Pick up the game of golf early in your life when you have really your best athletic abilities and you can put it into the game. I was fortunate enough in tennis, I picked the game up when I was like 25 years old, and I became a pretty good tennis player when I was young. But you can play both of these games your whole life. And I can tell you, as you said earlier, you meet the nicest people
Yes,
playing golf and tennis that you'll ever meet in your life, and that's I would recommend the game regard if you're a great baseball, football, basketball player, still pick up these two games. Golf first, tennis second, and you'll guarantee you'll enjoy them your entire life and you'll meet the most wonderful people in the world.
thank you, Bob, for that, man. Listen, on that note, we're going to get on out of here. Appreciate you, Bob, again for coming through and coming on to the Sports Chasers. We really love your insight today on lag putting and your methodology of making sure people get those numbers down and become a better putter on the golf course, man. So with that said, on behalf of myself, I'm Kevin L. Warren, your host and moderator. This is the Sports Chasers Podcast. You'll be good, be great. Hey, we'll catch you on the next time. Peace.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Sports Chasers Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, and connect with us on all social media channels for exclusive content and updates. We'd also love for you to join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of the Sports Chasers community. And remember to tune in next time for some more real sports talk. Until then, stay frosty.